All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video. Check out Pig in a Pickle, two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Use that promo code Krug, K-R-U-E-G, and they will match you up to your first $100. Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. And tonight on Christmas night, it's the 11-3 Ravens on the road at Levi's Stadium against the 11-3 49ers. 8:15 in the East, 5:15 in the West. Niners favored by 5.5. The Ravens lead the all-time series 5-2. The last meeting, the Ravens beat the Niners 20-17. It was back on December 1st of 2019 in Baltimore. And of course, last week, the Ravens beat up on the Jaguars 23-7, while the Niners beat up on the Cardinals 45-29. All right, let's talk a little bit about the matchup and the top dozen players in this game, because this is a true clash of titans. And of course, the Ravens on offense overall are 5th overall. They get the number 1 rushing offense, the number 20 passing offense. They're 4th in scoring. The Niners on defense are the 9th rated defense, number 3 against the run, number 15 against the pass, number 2 scoring defense. And then if you flip the card over, the Niner offense is 2nd overall, 3rd in the league rushing the ball, 2nd in the league throwing the ball, 3rd in the league scoring. One of the best offenses in pro football, while the Ravens on defense overall are number 2 in yards, number 1 in points. They're 10th against the rush, 7th against the pass. And as far as the turnover differential, the Ravens are +5. The 49ers are a +13. They are fantastic on the turnover table. All right, let's talk a little bit about the 12 best players in this game. We'll count them down, and these are my rankings, nobody else's rankings. They're not scientific. These are the 12 best players that you're going to see on the field tonight between the Niners and the Ravens. Checking in at number 12, and I could not leave him off the list, Justin Tucker, the Ravens kicker. Man, he's great. He's a great kicker, one of the greatest kickers in the history of the NFL, future Hall of Famer, a place kicker who's still very much on top of his game. He's the top kicker in the NFL today. So overall, I put Justin Tucker as the 12th best player in this game tonight. All right, checking in at number 11, I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk, the Niners star wide receiver, who's really much, much better than his stats indicate. He's also a dominant punt returner if they want to utilize him that way. There's indications that they may tonight. And Ayuk loves to block downfield. He's a phenomenal downfield blocker. He's tenacious. He loves to do it. It's one of the things that really sets him apart. Brandon Ayuk, in a lot of games, he'd be the 3rd or 4th best player. In this game, he's the 11th best player on the field tonight. Checking in at number 10, I'm going to go with Deebo Samuel, maybe the hottest player in the NFL today. He can beat you as a runner, he can beat you as a receiver, and he can also beat you as a kick returner. Tough as hell. I mean, that's really, if you want to say what's the defining characteristic of Deebo, it's the toughness. He's a tone setter, tone setting player for sure. Tough as it gets. Deebo Samuel checks in as the 10th best player in the game tonight. That may be a little low, but I'm going to go Deebo at number 10. Number 9, I'm going to go with Roquan Smith, the inside backer for the Ravens. Man, this guy can run. He can hit. He's got great instincts. He's excellent going forward. He's excellent going backward. He's got great instincts. He can play coverage. The versatility of Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen really free up the Ravens corners to play coverage. And Roquan is, started, Georgia Bulldogs to the Chicago Bears in the first round. For whatever reason, the Bears traded him in his prime. I'm not sure exactly why. And the Ravens were smart enough, Eric DeCosta, to scoop him up. Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in the game. He checks in at number 9. All right, number 8, I'm going to go with Fred Warner, the inside backer of the Niners. Best coverage linebacker in the NFL today. He's the 49ers' emotional leader. He's their vocal leader. He is overall their defensive tone setter in a lot of ways, him and Dre Greenlaw. Fred Warner is going to check in at number 8 on this list. Who's the 7th best player in the game tonight? I'm going with Justin Matabuke, the former A&M defensive lineman. Man, Matabuke is having a great year. He's got like 11 straight games with at least a half a sack. He's about 310 pounds, but he's a pass rusher, and the motor is nonstop. And if the Niners are going to win tonight, they got to somehow control Justin Matabuke. He cannot live in the lap of Brock Purdy, or it's going to be a long day at the office. So Matabuke checks in at number 7. Number 6 on this list of the 12 best players on the field tonight, I'm going with Kyle Hamilton, the nickelback for the Ravens. I mean, is he a corner? He is. Is he a safety? He is. Is he a linebacker? He is. He's basically everything. They play him a lot at the nickel. He's an elite playmaker who must be accounted for on every single snap. This guy makes plays against the run. He makes plays against the pass. Super heady, super blue chip. There's a reason this guy was taken high in the first round. Great career at Notre Dame, and he's continued that success in the NFL. Kyle Hamilton is quite simply one of the best players in the NFL, regardless of position, and he probably doesn't get enough credit. So he checks in at number 6 on this list. As great as he is, there's still 5 players in this game that I have over Kyle Hamilton. Number 5 on the list, Nick Bosa, the reigning defensive player of the year. Now, in this matchup, he's likely to go up against Morgan Moses. Bosa rushes from the right defensive end spot. Moses plays, or from the left defensive end spot, Moses plays right tackle for the Ravens, and he's a much better run blocker than he is a pass protector. So advantage Nick Bosa, but Bosa checking in at number 5. Number 4 on this list, the best left tackle in the NFL, and that's big Trent Williams, the future Hall of Famer, will be in charge of blocking the speedy edge rusher, Odafe Owe. Owe has incredible speed, amazing get off, and he's got some decent counter moves back inside as well. But Owe is a handful. He can get the edge on any individual snap, and Trent Williams is going to have his hands full, but Owe is going to have his hands full, especially if the Niners start to run the ball. Big Trent can be a road grader against Odafe Owe. So Trent Williams, number 4 on the list. Number 3 on the list, Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the NFL. Man, this guy can do it as a runner. He can do it as a receiver. He's having a career year. He could be the MVP of the league. Tough as hell, carries out play fakes on the backside like his life depended on it. Kyle Shanahan described Christian McCaffrey to us the other day as the best player away from the football he's ever been around in the NFL. Very lofty praise for McCaffrey. He checks in at number 3. Number 2 on this list, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his legs. He's a former MVP. He's tough as hell. He cannot be intimidated. He can make you miss in space and make you look really, really bad. Really bad. So he checks in at number 2. Lamar is a phenomenal football player. He only thing is he hasn't won in the playoffs. He's 1-3 in the playoffs. So that's like his next hurdle. But man, as far as a guy that can, and he's better now throwing the football than he was 2-3 years ago. He can really beat you throwing the ball. And then if he starts to run, he can beat you that way as well. He'll hold it for long stretches of time and break down your defense. And he's just really, really tough guy. He's not intimidated by anybody, big or small. This is a big test for Dre Greenlaw. Can you get a lick in on Lamar and not be penalized? Can the Niners contain Lamar on third down, the quarterback down? It's a big question in this game. And number 1 on the list, it's my list, so he's going to be number 1 on this list, and that is 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. He is the MVP favorite for a reason, folks. This guy's a franchise quarterback. He's on top of his game right now. He's balancing being aggressive versus taking care of the football, and he's doing it expertly. He's leading the 49ers. He's playing the best football that we've seen from a Niner quarterback, really dating back to the all-time greats like Steve Young and Joe Montana. Brock Purdy is the MVP favorite, and he's the MVP favorite for a reason. He's playing great football, and I expect him to continue that tonight against the Baltimore Ravens. So there you go. Those are the top dozen players. And man, this might be one of the most talented individual football games since the 92 Niners Cowboys NFC Championship game, the year the Cowboys came to Candlestick and knocked off the 49ers in an upset. Once again, to count it down from 12 to 1, Justin Tucker, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, Justin Matabuke, Kyle Hamilton, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, and the best player tonight, Brock Purdy. How do you have the top dozen players rated? Throw it in the comments below. I'd love to see how you guys break it down. You could argue with a number of these. Heck, you could have Deebo much higher. You could have Warner much higher. You could have Hamilton much higher. You could have Lamar number one. You could have McCaffrey number one. There's a lot of different ways to break it down. Heck, if you wanted to say all-time greats at their position, Justin Tucker could be very, very high on this list. I had him check in at number 12. But how do you rate the top dozen? Well, that's how I rate the top dozen. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.